Hi, this is Vasavya. Along with my teammate Sanjay, we have done a note keeping app together. Um, we have used Python Flask for the backend and React and Chakra UI for the front end. And we have deployed it on Azure using a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions.
Yeah. So let's talk about the CRUD operations in the project. So as we know, the create option, which is right in the top right corner, we can create by adding the title to the nodes and by adding the description to the nodes. When you press add, it will create a node next in the next. So when it comes to the read, you can read the items, and when it comes to the update, when you press the note icon, you can update it. Then when it comes to the delete, you can press the delete icon and it will delete automatically. So ensuring the smooth data persistence in SQLite, this data can be stored in backend very smoothly, and API communication between the front end and the backend are very good, and the data transfer is also happens in seamlessly. And when it comes to the practice implementations, so we had used separate virtual environment for array and dependency isolation, and the code modulation, we store the entire code in GitHub, and from there we have using the GitHub actions, we deployed the code in the Azure web apps. So these are all the actions that we performed in GitHub. So also we use Chakra UI for smooth interface, and we had used dark mode and light mode for the user for the UI.
I'll go ahead and explain how we have used Azure. So our front end and back end is deployed separately. There is web app where our back end is deployed, and there is static web app where our front end is deployed. So each time we make a commit to our make a commit to our master branch, the code gets deployed to Azure. We will look at the workflows that we use. So we have two YAML files. One is for the backend deployment to the web apps, and another is the file for the front end deployment to static web apps. So we have specified which branch is our primary branch. So whenever there is a commit to this branch, the code will be deployed. And we specify the working directory. Uh, we set up the Python version, we create virtual environment, install dependencies, um, and we uh, yeah, so we go ahead, log in into Azure, and the deployment happens. So this is how the backend gets deployed. And for the front end, uh, it's pretty much similar, but for the front end, when um, all the front end code gets built and it gets stored in the build file gets stored in the folder called dist. So we have to specify that folder, that all the front end if all the front end build package is stored in the dist, and that is what needs to be deployed on the static web app. So let's just um, do a commit and see our deployment happening. So yeah, I have made a commit. Now we go to the actions, and we see that these two deployment files run. So this is completed, the build is completed, now it is deploying. This deployment will complete in a while, and we'll be able to see the so the static web apps has already built and deployed, and if there is any error we can see it in these one of these steps. We can see the details in these steps. And once the code gets deployed, we'll be able to access the app through the static web app. So on clicking this, we reach this website, and we'll be able to create our nodes. And for storage, we have used a storage account, and it creates the SQLite database where our nodes get stored. We want to build further on this app where like we want to implement authentication. This currently doesn't have authentication, so we want to have user accounts and authentication, and we want to increase test coverages on the application. Yeah, so this deployment is also now complete. So yeah, thank you.